Hi, I'm Chris Lee, and this is Virtually Speaking. Joining us today is Eric Saperston, an award-winning filmmaker of the most memorable documentary of the past 10 years award at South by Southwest for his acclaimed film, The Journey, where Eric called up extraordinary people and asked them to have a cup of coffee. Celebrities like Billy Crystal, Jerry Garcia, Jimmy Carter, and Richards, as well as many powerful business luminaries like Marshall Goldsmith, joined him and had moving conversations about what traits made them who they were. He's also a best-selling author of the book Live in Wonder. Today, Eric has an upcoming digital series called Three Things, where he interviews more transformative people like Woody Harrelson, Shep Gordon, and Henry Winkler, which is based on a very successful game and team-building exercise he created. Eric has appeared on the Today Show, CNN, in the Wall Street Journal, Fast Company, and the New York Times, and has been a world-renowned speaker for the past 15 plus years on the topics of communication, leadership, and performance. So please join me now with the amazing Eric Saperston. Well, hello, Eric Saperston. Thank you for joining me here on Virtually Speaking. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well, my friend. Nice to see you.
Yes, great to see you. Thank you for coming on. I've been looking forward to this. I have known about you for a long time. I'm a huge fan. I've wanted to talk to you here for a while, as you know, and a lot of things about you are so cool. And really the main word that I think of when I think of you as a speaker is communication. You and I have a lot in common when it comes to the way we think about communication and sales and leadership and performance as well. But it's an exciting journey that you've been on. And I know it all starts for you with the movie you made called The Journey, which was a very successful movie, a documentary that won the South by Southwest Film Festival, which is incredible. Tell us a little bit about, I guess that's point A for you. That's basically where everything started. Is that right?
That is after college. This was years ago now. After college, I graduated, and I thought, well, I could take a year off and go travel, or I could go get a corporate job, or I could go to graduate school. Those are my three choices. And I chose door number one, which was take a year off. And I was going to travel and follow the Grateful Dead and work a ski season in Aspen. And then my mentor at the time said, "Hey, Eric, I think traveling and partying is going to be great for you. You're really good at that. But what else can you do to make the trip more meaningful?" And so on a dare from him, I was thinking about how I could take that trip and do something with it, do something that would have meaning for myself and others. And so on a dare from him, he challenged me to think about, what can I do to be of service? How do I make that trip have an impact, not just having fun? And so from that dare, I decided, when I wasn't traveling and having a good time, that I would call up some of the most powerful people in the world and take them out for a cup of coffee.
So what gave you the impetus to do that? I mean, were you already in sales? How were you so confident in that you thought you could just call the most successful people up wherever you were traveling and interview them?
Yeah, this was early, right now, and the technological boom. This was back I was living in a Volkswagen bus with my dog, traveling around the country. I was van life before van life was a hashtag,
Right.
it appears. And now I was out traveling with my bus. I was selling Sexy Kind. I called them Sexy Kind grilled cheese sandwiches, but they were just grilled cheese sandwiches off of my Coleman stove at rest stops to raise money. And at that point, I was using payphones really to call up people and call them directly at their office and try to hunt extraordinary people down. And I think what gave me permission to do it is that I saw a genuine need. I was connected to a higher purpose right out the gate. And that was, I saw that there was a breakdown between young people and elders. I thought that young people who want to live extraordinary lives, the most of the elders that they had access to were people who were cynical and jaded and unhappy with their lot in life.
Right.
And we were going to a lot of people like that for wisdom. And they were sharing with us on how to live. And I just thought that didn't make any sense. I want to go talk to the top of the food chain, the people who are waking up excited and going to bed fulfilled and living extraordinary lives, and talk to them. And then I realized that if I got access to them, I could be a conduit. I can open up a dialogue between young people who want to learn with wise elders who want to teach.
Wow. And how old were you when you had this realization and this
I
plan?
was in my 20s. Yeah, my 20s.
That's amazing that you had that insight, and obviously your mentor, you even having a mentor is says a lot about you. Care to talk about him at all, or where he came from?
Yeah, Tony Smith. He passed away now. He was a superstar human. I met him when I was a student body president in college and brought him under my wing, you know, as an advisor then, and he continued to be my mentor. And yeah, he fundamentally changed my life. I mean, I thought I was going to travel and just have a good time, and on his dare, he said, "What can you do to make it more meaningful?" And that really was a massive contribution. And the other contribution that he made that helped me really identify my higher purpose was that, you know, he said, look, if you want to figure out what it is that you're here to do, all of us, you know, I believe everybody here has a gift, a contribution that they're here to make for the world. And the real journey that we're all on, every one of us is on a journey. My movie was called The Journey, but I think why it's so important and relevant and how it continues to impact people is that we've never not gotten off the journey. We're all on a journey. And on this journey, how do we find our purpose? How do we find meaning and fulfillment? And what my mentor asked me to do, Dr. Tony Smith, he said, you know what? The best way to figure out what your calling is to ask yourself three questions. What's the problem? What's the need? And what's the solution? If we can identify a problem that's in our life that matters to us, that haunts us, that pulls on our pant leg, that gets us angry for its injustice, whatever it is that we are called forth because we care about this topic, if we can identify what that is, and then the second thing is, what's the need? Here's this injustice. Here is you know, an environmental issue. Here is a political issue. I care about this. And what's the need? And if we can identify what the need is, awesome. And then the third part is, what is it about my life, the beaker of my mom, beaker of my dad, and all my life experiences that have brought me to this moment? Do my gifts align with that as a solution? So for me, when I realized, look, I grew up with a father that had a stroke when he was 28 years old. I grew up with a man that was disabled and crippled on the entire left side of his body, walked around, you know, dragging his left side. He'd been an athlete, a professional baseball player, and an executive at a top company. And he was the main breadwinner of my family. And all of a sudden he had a stroke at 28 that was unexpected. He became paralyzed. My mom, who was a stay-at-home mom, became the main breadwinner, and my whole life changed, and our whole family life changed. And all of a sudden I realized with my father, he was not this, optimistic, inspiring person. He was pretty damn jaded and angry and mad at the world for robbing him of his life. And so I saw that, and I realized, man, I want to live an extraordinary life. I want to go seek out people who are not stopped. And so my father's paralysis gave me strength to go after this. And I realized that, oh my gosh, okay, there is a lot of other people like me who have people in their lives that are cynical and jaded and upset, and something wronged them. And that's when it dawned on me that the problem was that there's a gap that needs to be bridged between everyday young people and extraordinary elders. And I saw that the need, if I could bridge that gap, would it provide value for people that want to learn? It would it provide value for those that have wisdom to teach? They would be inspired by each other. And then I looked at my life and said, do my skill set, can I be in the solution? And it turns out that I've been gregarious as a kid. I'm a person who loves to ask questions. I love to engage in all walks of life, and I love building bridges. I like to open up dialogues. And so it became really obvious that that was my path. And my invitation for everyone that's listening is to do the same experience. What's a problem you care about? What's a need? And then how do your gifts become part of the solution? And I believe if that calling is real, it will give your life power and vitality and fulfillment.
And you must have felt that these very extraordinary people, and I assume they were mostly pretty successful people, a lot of them probably entrepreneurs and founders of companies, I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that's the mantra of really successful people. In some cases, or many cases, really, there's a problem that they want to fix. There's a status quo that they will not accept, that they want to change. And so that's really the reason why they were passionate about changing the world and doing something amazing that they did. Was that something you knew going in was the case? And or did you just want to get all of this information? Obviously, you started filming it, which was also very intelligent of you to have that idea to do so, because it became an incredible documentary. But you know, was your main purpose because you wanted to steal a little bit from these people and learn a little bit from these people in how to be successful and how to be extraordinary? That was kind of the main reason behind also what you were doing in linking the young with the older, right?
Yeah, a couple things I heard out of that. One, I heard that do all these extraordinary people that I've interviewed, rock stars, CEOs, astronauts, Olympic athletes, physicists, farmers. I mean, I've met the top of the food chain all these years. For 25 years, I've been studying the common traits of what it takes to be extraordinary. And we have met some of the most phenomenal people on the planet. And if you're asking, are they committed to solving a problem? The answer to that is yes. That's what drives them to do what they do. That is what gives them power to pull up their enthusiasm like a pair of socks and go out there and make magic happen. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've discovered on my journey is that as a society, I interviewed this guy, the world-renowned architect John Portman, who is amazing. And he's the one that created the atriums in hotels that now everyone knows about, these big atriums, but he was the visionary that came up with that idea. One of the things that I asked him, I said, hey, what is the greatest challenge you think facing our society right now? And he said, I think the greatest challenge is that we've become rudderless boats. And what happens to a boat without a rudder? A boat drifts. A boat is at the whim of the elements. It's at the whim of the tide and the current. As a society, I think most people are working really hard. And they're putting countless hours into creating a livelihood, yet they're going to bed exhausted and waking up tired. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they're doing that is that they haven't identified their own rudder. They've not gotten clear about what it is that they stand for. What are the guiding principles that push and drive them to do what they do? What are their commitments? And what is their higher purpose? Being able to get to identify what those are gives someone meaning and purpose and fulfillment in their life. And so I'm a big proponent. What we work with our clients all the time and give speeches about is to help people get really clear about their individual rudders. The more they can get clear about what they stand for, the more commitment they can bring to their lives, the more power, the more vitality they can bring.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like you took a lot of these lessons. You created this incredible movie that really made you well known and won a film festival, a major one, South by Southwest. And then you took it and wrote the book, the Live in Wonder book. After I feel like it was it years later, many years later?
Years later.
Yeah, many years.
So the Live in Wonder, you know, I'm a person who likes to do things once, kind of, you know, I made a movie and then I went, I made a movie and now I'm, you know, and it was really, you know, I was really blessed that it inspired millions of people now. So it's been really a blessing. And then I went and wrote a book and it took me a while to write a book.
Right.
I've never written a book, but it took me a while to write one. And that was because when I would give speeches in front of, you know, all these amazing companies, ADP and SAP and Gartner and Nike and Coke and Hilton and all of them, I would give speeches and I would oftentimes open it up for Q&A because I love to be able to engage with the audience. It's really fun to do that. And it's extemporaneous and it's engaging and people get a chance to participate and co-create the experience. So I love that. So I would ask questions and people would raise their hand and say, well, you got a chance to meet all these iconic and amazing leaders and visionaries and pioneers in all these industries. What did you learn? And then I would share lessons of what I learned and what they taught me. And there's a lot of them. I mean, it's incredible what I've been, everything from, you know, being clear about your guiding principles, having the humility to ask others for help, knowing that language is either in the on position or off position. You're either inspiring and bringing people towards you or repelling and pushing them away. And so you want to switch that into the on position. There is building a community and having community standards that genuinely care about one another, all these great lessons. And I would share stories from Jimmy Carter, Maya Angelou, the president of Coke, or whoever it might be that I was sharing from back on the journey, and then conversations that I can share now from Woody Harrelson or from Henry Winkler, or from, you know, just tons of people that we're still in relationship now. There was always somebody really smart in the audience. And then they raise their hand and they would say, Eric, I really get you're a great storyteller. I appreciate all the people that you met. Can you share with me what you learned?
Right.
Not just what they taught you. You got a chance to go on this adventure. You got a chance to look for the commonalities of all these extraordinary people. You got up on this mountain and you got access to all this information. What did you deduce?
Yeah.
I want to know that answer.
Yeah.
Right. I want to know that answer. And it truly humbled. I didn't have it. It was a bummer. Like, they'd raise my hand. Like, I don't know what that is yet. I haven't, it hasn't come to me yet, you know, and I would have to kind of wow that moment. I didn't have it. I was like, oh, I'm still working on it. So it took many years before the epiphany finally popped in. And what I realized is what all these people have in common. Right? We're talking about extraordinary people. So there's a difference, you know, good to great. I'm talking about great to extraordinary, people that are living fully self-expressed lives. Those folks, what I'm interested in learning from them is that, you know what I realized is that all of them live in wonder. All of them bring a deep sense of awe and marvel and astonishment and gratitude to the moment. In a world right now where it is changing and disruptive and uncertain, everyone is mostly panicking of like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Right. People that I interviewed are not threatened by not knowing what's going to happen because they've never known what's going to happen.
And they create what's going to happen.
They do. They co-create it. They build community. They use language to speak their possibility into the world. They're tenacious, all kinds of things that help make that happen. But that wonder is something that we're born with. Every person on this planet was born with a sense of wonder. It transcends race. It transcends religion. It is a unanimous experience that it's almost, some would say it's our first emotion is wonder, the sense of awe and marvel and bewilderment and curiosity. All that is how we start to evolve into this world. And somewhere along the line, we get taught that, you know, you gotta knock that out of you. You gotta stop being that and get practical and get real and get focused. And the people that I know are real and practical and focused and have a huge sense of wonder. They bring to the moment curiosity. They're not talking, they're incredible talkers. They're able to speak really well. But when I get to hang out with them, what they really are is incredible question askers.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say about you.
What's that?
You lived in wonder from the very beginning, and you wondered what these people were thinking and where they were coming from and what made them successful and extraordinary. So it sounds like live in wonder is such a great theme for you in your life. And not only that movie and also the book, which I know has sold a lot of copies and has done very well as well. It's kind of like been who you've been, and you still are. You love to wonder, you love to ask questions, you love to get to know people, and then you love to spread that knowledge in many different forms that you've done all these years. As a speaker, as a writer, and as a movie maker. And now you have a kind of an interview show that you're doing, I know, which is the thing you're passionate about now. You mentioned Henry Winkler and Woody Harrelson, I know, are two of your guests on the upcoming digital series, 3 Things. Tell us a little bit about that new project.
Oh, so excited. Yeah, the 3 Things has been a real blessing in this world of short form content and get to the point and be succinct. We've been brewing this idea for 10 years. and it's morphed into a whole bunch of things, and now it's finally found its moment in time. But years ago, I interviewed all these people, and I learned, being a movie maker, I could sit down for an hour and a half and interview somebody, and it would be impactful and so great. But then I'd have to go back and watch the hour and a half, and then I'd have to have cutaways, and then I'd have to figure out how to edit it all together. And most people, even me, we start talking, then we go off on a tangent, we come back and talk again. And so to edit somebody, it's, somebody said something great at 6 minutes, and then they said something that was relevant to that idea, 16 minutes later. And then in the editing room, you got to put all that together and make it sound intelligent and have cutaways to do all that. And so I realized that was a lot of work, and I wanted to figure out, how can I tell stories really well and really quickly? Mm-hmm. That was the problem I was trying to solve. How do I do that really fast, really quickly? And so we started this journey around figuring out how we could do that. And then we thought about storytelling and the power of storytelling. And that storytelling has 3 acts. There's a beginning, middle, and an end. There's a setup, conflict, and resolution. And that's what storytelling is. And so if we can create a 3-act structure that will help people share their wisdom, can we do it in an impactful and succinct way? Yeah. And so that was the inquiry. And we started filming people, and then it has evolved now from interviewing strangers all over the world to it becoming a game that people like to play now. And then we evolved the game into now a new digital series. And that series is called 3 Things, Pearls of Wisdom from Extraordinary People. And we ask people, and why it's called 3 Things is that we get to ask 3 things questions. So for example, we get to say, we just interviewed Pat Simmons from the Doobie Brothers, who wrote the song, "Oh, Black Water, Keep on Rolling, Mississippi Moon, Won't You Keep on Shining." I mean, He's so fun. And he wrote this iconic song. So we asked him, what are 3 things you've learned about songwriting? And Pat said, number 1, keep it simple. Number 2, write about what you know, your own experience. And 3, don't bore us, get to the chorus.
Poignant. I mean, every songwriter needs to remember that for sure.
Every songwriter, every organization, every salesperson, every husband, every wife.
Yeah.
Everybody, we can all utilize this skill of being able to articulate our ideas by saying, hey, here's my idea, number 1, number 2, and number 3. It is one of the most powerful communication tools we've uncovered. The amount of wisdom that's transferred in that moment in time is incredible. We're seeing it impact organizations on every level. We're going to top leaders and saying, hey, when's the last time you turned around and said, hey, what are 3 ways that I can exceed your expectations in the next 90 days?
Right. Yeah. And
salesperson, hey, what are 3 things you're looking for in this new product that would really exceed your expectations?
Well, and you've been doing this as a team building exercise as well, like kind of a workshop-y kind of a flavor to your keynotes and your in-person and virtual presentations, right? So that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah. Well, it evolved another asset out of the idea of 3 things. And this is as timely and as meaningful and as value add right now that this is an offering that is making a profound difference for organizations right now. And that is that we've created a team building experience around question asking. We're using the 3 things model to engage an organization, and it has increased psychological safety. It has produced empathy, greater levels of empathy, inclusion, belonging. It opens up a dialogue between everybody. It celebrates shared values. It's been phenomenally off the charts for us. In a world where most organizations now are doing things remotely, and a lot of companies are hiring people, and the people that they're working with, they've never met before. They've only met digitally. They've never had the opportunity to be around a water cooler and get to know or go bowling or whatever. So in this new digital world, this one experience will transform an organization. It is the beginning of a brand new dialogue, and the feedback that we've gotten from the companies that we've been collaborating with has been off the charts. We love it. So if there's any organization out there that wants to build community, celebrate shared values, reduce anxiety and fear, build trust, build inclusion, build belonging, please call on us. We'd love to help. For the last 2 years, we've been doing this exercise virtually, and it is poised for it to be virtually, because that's exactly where we are. We're sitting in our homes and we're relating to people that we've never actually been physically with. And this,
Yeah.
I'll walk you through what it does. The experience is we come up with questions. So they put everybody on teams, and then we're able to give people questions. So everybody in the organization gets a 3 things question. They get, so yours could be, what are 3 things you've learned about making mistakes? Mine could be, what are 3 things I've learned about listening? Somebody else could be, what are 3 things you've learned about leadership? Somebody else could be, what are 3 things you've learned being on a team? What are 3 things you've learned about trust? So we have a whole,
Right.
we work with the HR department to come up with a whole list of questions that match their ethos. And then we have everybody go around and we say, okay, great, let's give everybody a question. And then have that group of people walk around. And in this case, we have them digitally connect with each other and ask each other their question. So we have the whole organization asking each other this question. So now within a certain amount of time, you've got 15 people that you've asked the same question to. So now everybody's getting wiser and smarter because they're listening to all their colleagues share their wisdom around this. And then the colleagues are asking them their question.
Right.
So then now everybody gets to be seen, everybody gets to be heard, everybody gets to be celebrated.
It's amazing. And
it's very powerful. Everyone gets to share wisdom.
Yeah.
Listen, learn how powerful questions are. So everyone gets a chance to ask each other questions. Then we come away from that. Then each person gets a chance to share what it is that they learned from asking all those people that question. And they're mini TED Talks. The quality of information that's shared in that moment, everybody comes across so smart because they just learned from everybody. And then we talk the third, so that's the second round. The third round is then we talk about what was the implication, what was the impact of asking questions? What did you learn about yourself, about others, about the power of questions? And everybody comes out of this with raving reviews. And we're really blessed. But people say, look, out of all the team activities we've had, and we've done many cool ones, this one has been the deepest and the most meaningful for our organization. This has actually made a dent in our ability to really connect and get to know one another.
Yeah. And again, this is just your mantra and your quest, your whole life, it seems like, is just asking questions, spreading knowledge, and getting people to share with each other through whatever means you've chosen. This is obviously what you've meant to do. And is 3 things something that's coming out soon? I wanted to ask you about your digital series. Is that like out yet, or is it going to be on a YouTube page? Where's that going to live?
Yeah, not we're gathering all the episodes and holding them. We're going to put out a release on them, and we're excited about that. Yeah, come join me on all social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And then, you'll be first to know on when they come out.
It's pretty cool that you've already had interviews with Woody Harrelson and Henry Winkler. I mean, sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's been really great. We've interviewed Sam Beard, who worked with 8 United States presidents. We've talked to Dennis McNally, who is the publicist for the Grateful Dead, and many others. It's been a blast. I already told you about Pat Simmons, and just so many great people. On our wish list is Jane Goodall, Warren Buffett.
I have a feeling you're going to get
Carrey.
Whatever's on your wish list, Eric. It seems like you've been really good at wishing things and visualizing things and making them come to fruition. That's kind of been another MO of yours, it seems like, throughout.
Thank you for that. I think coming full circle to where we began, I'm really grateful for that John Portman, and architect, that had me think about guiding principles. I think for everyone that I know that's being extraordinary, they're committed to something. And that's what gives them the courage to go do the thing that everyone says can't be done. And so I really invite everyone to ground down, to take time. I live on an organic farm now, and nature is so powerful. We become this technological world in which we're around phones and monitors and all that. And my wife, Sarah, who likes to always say, whatever we're doing a lot of, do the opposite.
Mm.
So if we're spending a lot of time around technology, it's equally as important for us to go spend time in nature and ground down. And please do that. And in that time where you're in nature, that's the best place to listen to yourself and figure out what are the answers to those three questions. What is a problem I care about? What's a need? And how do I become part of the solution? What are my guiding principles that I'm going to use to govern my life so I can be that?
Yeah.
And then go for it, and then enjoy the heck out of the journey, because none of us know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
That's why we're living in wonder.
Yeah. I love that. Wow. Have you noticed that I know you have these conversations with so many great people? It's kind of your quest and what you do. I know you're surrounded with a lot of great people who are your friends over the years. Are these extraordinary people today singing a different tune in general than they were before the pandemic or before the 2000s? Has anything noticeably changed recently with kind of the main, mantras or focuses that they have?
That's a great question. In my experience, when I say that the people who I've met are living in wonder, I mean
Sure.
that with the greatest amount of earnestness, because living in wonder means that somebody is
Optimistic?
open, optimistic, open. There's an optimism to them. There's a curiosity to it. There's a not knowing to it. There is a appreciation. There's a deep sense of gratitude.
Mm.
There is a presence and an awareness that all life is sacred, and that I'm here to be present with you. There's nothing more important than this moment that we're having right now. And in a world that, everyone's saying, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And one of my friends likes to say, busy is the new stupid. Like, being busy isn't really great. It's actually being intentional, being present. If we can slow down and be present with everyone, that makes our journey count. That's what everybody wants from us. So my friends that are living this life, I think they were already living with uncertainty. They were already living like there was a pandemic. They were already living like there was political upheaval. They were living their life every day like it's their last day. They're not taking anything for granted. They don't feel entitled. They feel very strongly about contributing. One of the distinctions that we talk about with our clients all the time is the distinction consume versus contribute. We become such a consuming, such a taking, such a needing, such a I want, this is me, me culture. And the people that are really living extraordinary lives are people that are thinking, man, how can I help?
Aren't they trying to also kind of manifest ideas and innovate? Isn't that a big part of living in wonder as well?
For sure. Yeah. Innovation is a big part of living in wonder. Another form of wonder is bewilderment. And bewilderment is being stopped. Like, it has both positive and negative tones to it. There's fear and excitement. And the innovation comes at that moment of pause right there, where there's fear and excitement. There's this idea of pause. And then why wonder is important is it's the beginning of the inquiry. That's where innovation starts, is by asking, okay, wait a second, what can we do?
Yeah.
What can be done? In the same way that problem needs solution, it's right there too. To innovate, what's the problem? What's the need? How are we part of the solution? And wonder is our pathway to get that done. Wonder gives us the opportunity to try things, to explore, to experiment. We've become this culture that wants everything to be perfect out the gate. There's no perfect out the gate. There's nobody that's an expert at the beginning of a journey. There's only learning and growing. That's it. Learning and growing. That's back to just being kids again, living in wonder and learning and growing.
And it's almost like
saying please and thank you a lot.
Yeah. And it's almost like you can be perfect for a period of time, and that kind of goes unnoticed. And then when you make a mistake, that's when everybody wants to go, ha ha, or that's when everybody now is pointing the fingers, and everybody's their own worst critic, but also everybody else's critic. It seems like people just want to point out things they disagree with or they don't believe in a lot. which is sad.
It's so sad. You know, living on an organic farm, I'm learning about soil and regeneration and sustainability and growth, and all that needs nourishment. And all these people that are walking around in leadership positions being so stingy with their gratitude, being stingy with their appreciation, and holding back and just waiting and watching for somebody to make a mistake and then go try to criticize them and want to shift their behavior isn't working. And in this great reset and resignation that's happening, people are filled. They're full. They're fatigued. They're exhausted. And the amount of money people are getting isn't enough to really make people care. They've got to want to care. They want to be in a culture and a community that stands for their greatness and listens and is inclusive, and it creates belonging and all that. And I think one of the things that we need to focus on as a society right now is appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That right now, if we want to be able to be really forthcoming and notice people doing things well and acknowledging them for doing things well, and if we can make more deposits into the bank of aloha, I'm calling it the bank of aloha, make more deposits into somebody's aloha and contribute to them. Then when there is something that didn't work out, the listening for your chance to go in there and course correct or change behavior, your listening is so much higher because you've contributed to them, you gave to them, you supported them, you nourished them. Then they can listen. They don't want to, nobody wants to make mistakes. So that you start walking in a room and somebody go, oh man, I blew it, didn't I? They'll be so much more ready to try to shift behavior because they know you genuinely care about them. That's real leadership to me. Right now, I think people are starving for gratitude, starving for acknowledgement, starving for appreciation. And the leaders that are going to be successful in this new world are going to be the ones that are building community. And using that boat analogy I said earlier about rudderless, one of my other favorite sayings about a boat is a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's the kind of leadership I think we need right now, is people that are able to create win-wins and really lift and care about one another. Those are the teams and communities I want to be a part of.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm glad we recorded that. That's very good stuff. Amazing, my friend. Well, that's definitely what you've been doing, and what you stand for is exactly, you embody that. And you definitely inspire so many people, and you've done it in so many different ways. I'm really excited to see the series, 3 Things. And whatever you're doing, I always want to find out and be a part of it. And if you're speaking, I need to be there. I hope you're in California sometime soon. I may just have to go to Hawaii and catch you there. So thank you so much, my friend, for coming on here. This has been awesome. Time has flown by. I know we always talk for way longer than we expect we're going to, but there's so many great nuggets in here. This has been really awesome. So thanks a lot.
My pleasure, man. I'll leave you with a little quick joke. What did one strawberry say to the other strawberry?
No idea.
If you weren't so fresh, we wouldn't be in this jam.
Of course. I love that. That's great. Well, thanks, my friend. I will talk to you soon, undoubtedly, and have yourself a great beginning of the year.
It's been a pleasure, Chris. I'm so grateful to be in partnership with you, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to connect today. And I look forward to making magic and having fun and laughs and impacting organizations together.
Absolutely. I will see you soon, and I'll talk to you soon again. You're the man. Thank you.
Aloha, my friend. Cheers.